Hi everyone, it's me Gaming Jew and it's 20 questions day everyone. Let's get on with it. 20 questions part 25. Number 1, what do you think of your older videos? I really think it honestly depends on the year, honestly. Because I look back at my 2016 videos, which is the year I started my channel, pretty negatively nowadays. I find them very stupid and very random. I do have a couple guilty pleasures, like my very first Swamp Sim video, and also my Slither.io video, but other than that, I look back at my 2016 videos with cringe. 2017, towards the beginning, I kind of feel the same way, but I figure around the middle of that year, I started to kind of form my modern channel and my modern feel to the channel. Not exactly my modern channel, but the modern feel of the Gaming Dude channel. And I just realized I call myself Gaming... Listen, guys, it's going to take a while for me to get used to now that I'm Dude's Corner. I'm sorry, guys, but yes, I'm Dude's Corner now. No longer Gaming Dude, but I'm not... That's in the past already. I'm not gonna refilm that. So, 2017, I feel like the videos got a little bit better later in the year. 2018, I'd say, is the first year where I had a good amount of decent videos. This is when I feel like GD Plush was starting to get on its feet, and like, that's the year... Oh, I got my Elgato in 2017, but that's when I really started to use it. 2018, my most popular videos of all time pretty much came out in 2018, which is a grand majority of my Loud House reviews. 2019, I'd say, is the first year where I kind of feel the modern feel of my channel. This is when I started to do stuff like more movie reviews. I don't think I did a single Loud House review in 2019. GD Plush was starting to get a little more like modern GD Plush, but the following year, I'd say, is when a really big shift to my channel came. 2020. Excuse me, guys. I have bad allergies right now. Tis the season. Anyways, my 2020 videos, I'd say, is when we started to get a big shift on the Gaming Dude channel. This is when things such as me moving to my new house and stuff like that took effect. The pandemic sort of shaped things too. But 2020 is when modern Gaming Do really started. 2021, I'd say, is when modern Gaming Do took full effect. Loud House reviews returned in 2021, but they were very few and far between. And 2022, which is a year I want to forget every single day, but I can't, sort of followed suit with 2021. And 2023 is the year I changed my channel's name to Dude's Corner, as I don't really focus on the name being Gaming Do anymore, because while it's not like I never do gaming videos, they're pretty rare nowadays, so I decided to change my name because it didn't really fit anymore to be called Gaming Do. So yeah, that is my opinion on all of my older videos. Mainly, I look fondly from videos pretty much 2018 onwards, but 2016 and probably more than half of 17, the videos are kind of cringeworthy. Number 2, how old are all of your dogs? I completely forgot to put a question mark there, but oh well. We'll move on from that. Willow, who is my oldest dog now, is 4. She's about to be 5 next month in October. On Halloween, actually, she's going to be 5 years old. Luna, who is now the middle-aged dog, is almost 2. She's going to be 2 at the end of this month on September 29th. And then Ellie, who is my youngest dog, is almost 4 months. She's going to be 4 months on September 26th because her birthday is May 26th. I don't think I've ever told you guys that Ellie's birthday is May 26th. She was born on May 26th, 2023. But anyways, if you guys are wondering about the older dogs, the dogs that have been there since the beginning of my channel, what the heck is that outside? If you'll excuse that, I'm at my dad's apartment right now, and we live by Route 206 in New Jersey, so a lot of traffic goes by there. You'll hear some pretty strange sounds from there. So just try to ignore that unless it's like the freaking Revolutionary Wars reenacted. But anyways, all of my older dogs, unfortunately, that have been there since the beginning of the channel, unfortunately, have passed away. Clover, and they all passed away the same year, actually, which is the saddest part. All 3 of them passed away in 2023, this year. Clover, Husky Puppy, passed away in January. She would have been 16 now. Abby would have been 13 now, and she passed away in March. And Scrappy, who I don't know if I've told you guys this in a video yet. Scrappy, which, oh my god, this really hurts me. Scrappy passed away last month at the age of 15, which means he would have been 15 now. He passed away on August 24th, and it was one of the hardest things I ever had to deal with. He was my buddy. We were like peas in a pod, and to lose him was so bad. But that's enough sadness for right now. In this video, we're actually going to get into a few more serious questions, and maybe even to expand the questions, we're actually going to get into some more serious topics. I'm not going to get too political, but I will say some stuff. This is especially going to be about question 17, which I'm going to give some answers about that question that I feel truly to, if you know what I mean. But anyways, my dogs who are currently alive are 4, 1, and 4 months now. 3 months, actually. Ellie doesn't turn 4 months till the 26th. But all of my dogs are almost going to turn a new age soon. The Corgis were both born in September and October, with Luna being born in September and Willow being born in October. And Ellie won't turn 1 until May 26, 2024. Number 3, how do you compare yourself now to how you used to be? To me, at least, I have changed drastically over the past, let's say, 5 years. 5 years ago, if you were to talk to Gaming Do in 2018, first of all, I had a bit of a bad temper. I never really showed it on camera, but I had a pretty bad temper, and a lot of stuff would truly piss me off. This day and age, you have to really mess with me to piss me off, and I'm a lot more chill than I used to be. Like, stuff that would have bothered me 5 years ago just isn't even close to bothering me anymore. Like, somebody used to make fun of me 5 years ago, let's say. Nowadays, I just either laugh at them or just completely ignore them. Wow, I'd get all offended 5 years. Anyways, so one of my things is I used to have a bad temper and I used to be a lot more sensitive. Now, I very much just run with jokes and stuff like that, and either I'll laugh at them, make fun of them back, or just completely ignore them, because the more I grow up, the more mature I get, and the more I realize that some people are just assholes, but you don't have to be an asshole back. So that's just my philosophy. I'm a lot more calm than I used to be. I'm much more take things one day at a time than I used to be. I used to worry a lot. Now, honestly, I still worry a fair amount about certain things, but not nearly to the degree that I used to. Wow. This is the fourth siren that's passing by in the past, 20 minutes. So if you hear a lot of sirens during this video, there's probably something that happened on the road a few miles away. So, just ignore that. But anyways, I compare myself 5 years ago as very naive, very temperamental, very kind of impatient. My good qualities were still there, some of them, such as I think I was overall a nice person. I wanted peace and everything. Now, in 2023, I'm a lot more calm, still a little bit worried, but I'm calm, I'm collective, I'm very much go with the flow, take things one day at a time type of person. I'm a lot more chill than I used to be, is my point. At least I think so, and I think a lot of people who know me would agree with that I've changed a lot in the past 5 years, mostly for the better. Number 4, how would you rank the decade so far? So, the 2020s has been very different from the 2010s. There's been a lot more overall negative stuff that's happened in the 2020s so far that just didn't happen in the 2010s. So if I had to rank the years, number 4 would be 2022. Not a lot of good stuff happened that year, and considering the passing of my grandmother, which still freaking destroys me to this day, and I don't want to talk about that anymore. It just makes me sad every time I mention it. From that to just it being so somber that year, it's a hard year. Now it gets hard. But number 3, I think I am going to go with this year, 2023. 2023 to me has been a great big mixed bag. There has been some very good things that have happened this year, but there has also been some very bad things that have happened this year. So overall, that would lead to 2023 probably being a 5 out of 10. Well, last year was probably something like a 2.5 or 3 out of 10 for the whole year. Of course, we still have major events of the year coming up, such as Thanksgiving and Christmas and other stuff like that, but 2023, I don't think is going to go above a 6, as there has been some stuff that's happened, especially the passing of all 3 of my oldest pets, which has been the hardest things this year for me. It's been... But there's also been some really good stuff, such as I had a really good 22nd birthday. I've taken some nice trips this year, especially down to get Ellie. That was a fun day. Getting Ellie was awesome. And I've had a lot of fun days, and just the year overall has been so much more chill and calm than 2022 that I'm kind of grateful for it. especially since around the summer started. It's just been more chill and calm this year, which is what I like. 2023 would probably be at number 3. Number 2, that's really hard. I'm probably going to go with 2021. 2021's best moments are probably the best moments of the entire decade so far. Our trip to Cape May, my trip to Seaside Heights, getting Luna as a puppy. She was a really cute puppy and still retains, if not is even more cute today than she was as a puppy. Hard to believe that I think her as an adult dog is just as, if not cuter, than when she was a puppy, but anywho. Just a lot of really good stuff happened this year, but there was an event that happened in August of that year that took off some major points for the year. If it wasn't for that event, I think 2021 would have been my favorite year of the decade, but for that, I gotta go with it being number 2. Number 1, as horrible as it was for the pandemic and stuff like that, I think my favorite year of the decade so far is 2020. I'm not kidding. I'm really dead serious. As bad as the pandemic was and stuff like that, 2020 was actually a relatively good year outside of the pandemic stuff. It was pretty much business as usual from 2019 outside of being locked in my house for a year. Everything pretty much felt the same. The same stuff was still around from the last year. We didn't get to see family a heck of a lot, but I saw them 2 or 3 times in 2020. It was especially hard not seeing my grandparents, who I saw pretty much every week in 2019, versus seeing them, gosh, it's probably 2 or 3 months before I even saw them physically. I talked to them probably dozens of times on FaceTime when we couldn't go and see them, but I think it was July. We didn't see them from the end of March to July, I believe, and it was awesome seeing them again. But anywho, 2020, I think, as bad as the pandemic was and stuff like that, it did start some stuff that would go on to other years, but 2020, I feel like, is personally my favorite year of the decade. It just felt like the most similar to, like, the peak of what I call my life so far, which I would consider from 2017 to 2019. It just felt the most similar to that, and the most business as usual year. Well, 2021 started some major changes that were for the negative, specifically the event that happened in August. Kind of kicked off a lot of stuff, but overall, this decade hasn't been so bad. It's had some horrible moments, but it's also had some great moments that I'm very grateful that happened. Number 5, what do you think of the strikes in Hollywood? Oh boy, I told you I was going to get into a few controversial opinions. For the most part, I'm very pro-strikes. I am. I think these greedy billionaires, people who are making billions of dollars, can't even give these writers a better pay, who are pretty much writing the entire story for their films. Writers are severely underpaid in Hollywood, I've come to realize. So yes, I am very pro-writer's strike and actor's strike. These people should be paid more by the billionaire CEOs who think, oh, it's okay to just use AI. I am scared to freaking death when these CEOs are going to use AI to write films. Listen, ChatGPT and stuff like that is cool. I would never, ever depend on that to write one of my YouTube video scripts. Why? Because it's just not yet smart enough as the human mind. It can't make as good of a story. That's why you still need physical writers to be there to write your stories and stuff like that. Now, do I wish in my own tiny, maybe 5% selfish way that the writer's strike would end now? Yes. But I think the writers also think that's true. I think the writers also want the strikes to end. Are you kidding me? This is the 5th siren in the past half an hour. What the hell happened on the road? Alright. If you're coming into a Dude's Corner video, just expect it's going to be wacky. And you'll hear, like, sirens down the road and stuff like that. Living in New Jersey on Route 206, you're going to hear stuff like that. So, I'm not even going to acknowledge sirens if they're coming down anymore. But, anyways, back to the writer's strike. Writer's strike, guys, has been a good effort. I think they're doing a pretty good job, but I really wish the CEOs would listen. There is a small part of me that wishes that these would end so I could see my movies, but I understand why they can't. Because these people are severely underpaid. I hope by the end of the year these can end, but I also think the writers hope by the end of the year they end. Better pay is more important, and I agree. So I am 100% for the writer's strike. I think these billionaires should be able to pay at least a little more money to these people who pretty much form your entire movie. Number 6, will Would You Rather ever come back? I think so. They're not my favorite videos to do because I've moved on to bigger and better things, honestly, than just Would You Rather. Would You Rather feels like an old relic of the older Gaming 2 videos. So I'm not as into Would You Rather as, say, I was in 2016 or 2017. So overall, I don't see it being a major part of the channel, but I do think it will come back one day, and I think it will come back by the end of the year. I just don't think September is going to be the month it comes back. I'm starting to work on my SpongeBob pre-movie ranking, which I finally have ranked all the episodes. I just have to make the thumbnails and stuff like that, and the cards to show you my ranking. And that's probably going to take like a whole week because I have 117 episodes to rank. And then it's going to be the biggest part of the entire project, which is going to be filming it all. That is probably going to take 2 or 3 weeks to film alone. And then I'm probably going to need about a week to edit it all. And then it's probably going to be such a big video that I'm going to need my computer to upload it, because I'm going to probably record it on my phone, but I think it'll be just too big to keep on my phone, so I'm probably going to have to edit it on my computer and upload it on my computer. It's a huge video. So, Would You Rather is not my number one priority right now, but it will probably come back by the end of the year. We usually get about one Would You Rather video a year nowadays. And I'd say the 2023 video will probably come out in October, is my guess. 7. What's your favorite SpongeBob season outside of the first 3? Oh, that's easy. Season 4. Season 4 is actually almost as good as seasons 1 through 3, in my opinion. The last probably 9 or 10 episodes of season 4 are kind of more along the lines of season 5, which season 5 isn't a bad season. I actually consider it a good season, but there are some serious duds in season 5. Well, the later half of season 4, I honestly feel is just too wacky and stuff like that, and has almost no resemblance to pre-movie SpongeBob. Well, I pretty much think outside of the voice changes and the animation style, I'd say from Fear of a Krabby Patty to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 6, the motion picture, it's pretty much business as usual. That's really how I feel. I feel from Fear of a Krabby Patty to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, the motion picture, it pretty much just feels like pre-movie SpongeBob with an animation and voice change. The tone just feels very similar. After that, though, it starts to feel a little more like Season 5, and while it's not necessarily bad, and there's a lot of good episodes in that part of Season 4, such as Patrick Smart Pants, which I think is literally the premiere, but that episode feels more like a Season 5 episode than a Season 3 episode to me. And there's also the Pink Purloiner, and I love Born to Be Wild. That's one of my top, probably 15 favorite for Season 4. I think the best episodes are at the beginning of the season. But anyways, Season 4, in my opinion, I think is the best post-first movie SpongeBob season, period. 9 would be pretty much tied with 5 for 5th place. I would probably give the edge to 5, though, because 9A was really slow, sort of like Season 8 was, and really boring, so I consider the best season of post-movie SpongeBob to be Season 4. Number 8, what's your favorite soccer team? That would be Paris Saint-Germain. Kylian, maybe, or whatever is, I don't know. I don't know how you say his name. I still got to get used to that, but he is the best player in soccer, in my opinion. Maybe behind Messi and Ronaldo. But their overall team just feels like a team that never gives up, and they constantly play to their fullest. I don't think they're the best team ever, but I love French culture and stuff like that, and it's my personal favorite country in Europe, so I figure that's the team I root for, you know? It may not be like, oh, it's about the players thing. It will be eventually as I learn more about the players, but I've only really been a fan of Saint-Germain for maybe the past 2 or 3 months. It's exactly how Ohio State was for me last year. I know a lot more about Ohio State than I did last year, as I was just getting into the team, as I started watching them and falling in love with them. That will probably be me with Paris Saint-Germain next year. The more I learn about their team, the more I learn about the players, the more I'll fall in love with them. So my favorite soccer team is Paris Saint-Germain. 9. What's your favorite music genre? Rock and roll. And it's not even close. Close second would probably be pre-2000s pop music. So like 80s and 90s pop music and even some 70s pop music. But rock takes it over pop for me. My favorite song of all time, I actually think, is a pop song. But 8 out of 10 of my favorite songs of all time in the top 10 are rock songs. There are so many classic rock songs. There is For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica, which is my favorite rock song of all time, and my second favorite song of all time, period. You have so many, oh my god, you have so many bands. You have pretty much the grandfathers of rock, which are the Beatles, and you have the king of rock, Elvis Presley. My personal favorite rock bands are Aerosmith, Metallica, and Led Zeppelin. I've really fallen more in love with Led Zeppelin over the year, especially the Immigrant Song. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. And that song is definitely in my top 10. One day we're going to get a top 10 favorite songs of all time for me. And I think on our next tier list we're going to do, it'll probably be music related. I freaking love rock and roll music. Especially Metallica and Aerosmith, with Led Zeppelin being a pretty close third. But I just love rock and roll. Number 10. What's your favorite reveal from the new Nintendo Direct? My favorite reveal from the new Nintendo Direct may be something a lot of people disagree with, especially the hardcore Donkey Kong fans. But it is the reveal of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake. You don't understand. Mario vs. Donkey Kong was my childhood. It is the number one game I played on the Game Boy Advance, which was my very first console I ever had. Period. I got that even before my PS1 and my PS2. It was my Game Boy Advance. And Mario vs. Donkey Kong was one of the first games I ever played in my entire life. So, when they announced that this game was going to be remade for the Switch, I was like, yes! Oh my god! In my opinion, this is the best announcement of the entire year for Nintendo Directs. I know a lot of people disagree because, yes, maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia glasses for me, but come on. There's a lot of games that a lot of people have nostalgia glasses for. This is just one of them for me. I love Mario vs. Donkey Kong. In a little bit of a way, maybe I would have rathered a solo 3D Donkey Kong game because I love the Donkey Kong Country games. All 5 of them. I like the original 3 more than I like the Returns games, but the Returns games are also very cool. I played the Returns games once each, and they're both good games, so part of me would rather either a Donkey Kong Country game, a Donkey Kong Country 6, or a 3D Donkey Kong game especially, but I'm kind of happy with Mario vs. Donkey Kong. The new Princess Peach game looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'll get it immediately, but it looks pretty cool. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is probably my least favorite of the Luigi's Mansion games, but I'm still willing to give it a try. F-Zero 99. What a cock tease for F-Zero fans. Really, Nintendo? This is your big F-Zero reveal? And I know a lot of people are not happy with that reveal. Personally, I'm not too offended by it, as I'm not really a big F-Zero fan, but come on. And I know they didn't reveal it in the... They didn't talk about it too much in the Nintendo Direct this time, but Mario Wonder looks like it's going to be the best 2D Mario game since the original New Super Mario Brothers, which is saying something, because I love that this... It seems like it's going to be such a creative game with many creative features to it. It's just... I'm really excited for Mario Wonder. I hope I can play it as soon as possible. But my favorite reveal from the new Direct is the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake. I plan to get that day one. I really want to play that. Number 11, seafood or Italian food? You see, in my opinion, sometimes you can actually mix both of them. Like, you get mussels and marinara sauce and stuff like that, and there's shrimp dishes in Italian food. And as much as I love stuff like lobster rolls and king crab legs and clams and stuff like that, and scallops and bacon, I gotta go with Italian food. Pizza, Alfredo pasta, lasagna, spaghetti. You can't go wrong with Italian food. It's just so freaking good. I love Italian food. Now, if you were to put Italian versus Chinese, which I believe I did before, I might have to go for Chinese then. Chinese food is just... But over seafood, I probably would pick Italian over all, especially the absolute best Italian food. You make a good lasagna, you'll be wanting to eat that every day of your life. So I'm going to go with Italian. Number 12, do you think Marvel is still the top film studio? Not really. If you were to talk to me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said absolutely, but Marvel this decade has made $1 billion film. Compare that to other studios. There are way more billion-dollar films from other studios than Marvel. Spider-Man No Way Home was the lucky exception to this rule, but the difference is Top Gun Maverick, Barbie, and the Super Mario Brothers movie and Avatar: The Way of Water. Only one of them was made by Disney besides Spider-Man, and that was Avatar: The Way of Water. The other three, one was by Paramount, one was by Warner Brothers, and one was by Universal. So I think these films are starting to get a little more, I guess you could say, dependent on other studios. It's proof that other studios other than Disney can make big billion-dollar films again. I don't know which one is going to come out first, the next Star Wars film or the next Avengers film, but I suspect either one of them, or Avatar 3. I don't know if Avatar 3 is going to come before either one of them, but I think it's either going to be Avatar 3, the next Star Wars film, or the next Avengers film will be the next Disney-related film to make $1 billion. And as for Marvel, I don't see it till Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. I'm sorry, according to all their upcoming films before that, I just don't see a $1 billion film happening. I can see on average, all of them are going to make over $500 million. Even the Marvels, which I think is going to be coming in November, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to watch it. I'm not too excited for it, but it's an MCU film. I want to be able to say where I'd place it in the MCU. So I will probably watch it when it comes out in November, but I'm not that excited for it. And I don't know if we're even going to get a Marvel film next year if these greedy frickin' businessmen keep holding the money from these writers. So, honestly, I think Marvel is not the top studio anymore, in my opinion. If you were to talk to me in 2019, I would say, what are you kidding? Of course they are. You talk to me today, I'm like, this entire decade so far, they've only made $1 billion film, and that's Spider-Man No Way Home. The other 4 films to make $1 billion this decade are from other studios. Unless you count both No Way Home and Way of Water being Disney films, then it's 2 by Disney, which means still Disney is the top for films this decade making over $1 billion, but they're both separate parts of Disney anyways. So I don't think personally Marvel Studios is at the top anymore, unfortunately, but I think they could get back to a pretty decent spot if they make the right improvements, which, with Bob Iger back, as greedy as a businessman as he is, I think he can make some pretty good decisions to help fix the MCU. 13, are you a political person? No, not even freaking close. Do I have some political opinions? Yes, but I would never, ever, 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 ever share them on the internet. That's my own personal thing. That's sort of like the number one thing in my life that I want to keep personal. is stuff like my address, which I'll never reveal, my hometown, which I'll never reveal. I already revealed I live in New Jersey, which is fine enough, you know. New Jersey has 9 million people, so who the heck, you know what I mean? Like, out of 9 million people, I think it's going to be pretty hard to find me. And yeah, I just don't give a damn about politics. I don't. Politics to me are just a bunch of stupid, greedy men and women who think that there's... Hold on, let's let the siren go by. That, ladies and gentlemen, was probably somebody going 5 miles over the speed limit. Because I think that was a cop siren. But anyways, to me, politicians are just greedy people who want to control everybody, and I don't see any good in most of them. There are a couple politicians that I think are legitimately good, but for the most part, politics are just evil in my opinion. I don't really see any good candidates, so the only reason I would vote is just because I kind of have the right to. And even at that, I'd probably just pick somebody random, because I don't care about politics. I have a few political opinions, but I just see most overall politicians as being pretty evil. On both sides of the coin, Republicans and Democrats. I just see them as not very good and sleazy people. So, no, I'm not a political person. Not every politician is bad. I am not saying that. But a lot of the major ones that have been around probably the past 15, 20 years. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys, but holy frick, what the hell happened? That is the freaking 6th siren that is... I gotta go for a little while, I'm sorry. We gotta let these sirens pass by. Alright, there's no getting around it. If there's an emergency, we're gonna hear sirens, and for a good reason, but... yeah, I had to take a break to let some go by. Anyways. No, I'm not a very political person. I think a lot of politicians are not in the right place, and are kinda evil, honestly. But there are some that are actually good people. And I'm not talking about people who are political. I think most people who are political overall can be a little bit annoying, especially when they're extremists, but I don't think they're the bad people. I think the actual politicians themselves are kind of bad people. But not even all politicians are bad. But a lot of them are, and that's my opinion on politics. It's just a game of not very good people making the laws of certain countries, so I don't get involved with it that much. Number 14, what new games are you playing? Well, I am actually playing 3 games right now. The major one I am putting a lot of time and effort into is Elden Ring, the newest game by From Software. It's, I'm sorry to say, maybe a little bit overrated. I kind of feel similar to how I feel about Breath of the Wild. It's just a little too much for me, I guess you can say. Like, I'm not into these games where you gotta, like, craft stuff and stuff like that, and these super... I love open world and stuff like that, but when they're too big, it gets a little overwhelming. I love GTA 5's open world and stuff like that, but when you move so slow in this open world, you can't drive a car or a plane around it or something like that. It gets a little bit boring to me, so I kind of find it boring, and I'm coming to see that I'm not a huge fan of From Software games, which is okay. It's just my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of those games, but I can definitely see the appeal of it. for certain people. It's just not my thing. It's a little bit too slow-paced for me for a video game. The other game I'm playing, which I actually really enjoy, is Cyberpunk 2077, which at first wasn't a very good game, but it has gotten some improvements, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it is a little bit big, but you know, you get some fast vehicles and stuff like that in the game, so I like the open world more in Cyberpunk than I do Elden Ring. I don't think Elden Ring's a bad game, but it's just not for me. Well, Cyberpunk so far is for me. I really enjoy it. The other game I'm playing now is what I just said, GTA 5. As the 10th anniversary of the game comes up, I decided I wanted to play the story mode again. I enjoy it just as much as ever. This is the 4th time I've played the story mode. I love it. And I can't wait to get all the stuff in the game and do all the heists and stuff like that. I will forever love GTA 5. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's my favorite GTA game. 15, do you consider yourself a nice person? I don't know. That's really up to you guys to decide. I really, really want to be a nice person. I do. I don't want to be a mean person. I don't think I am. But it's really hard to say because I don't really know if that's for me to decide. I kind of think maybe that's for other people to decide if I'm a mean person or not. I don't consider myself a mean person, but maybe some people do. I don't ever try to be, but maybe some people do. So in my opinion, it's not really up for me to decide if I'm a nice person. I don't think I am, or I don't think I'm a bad person. I think I'm a good person, but that's not really up for me to decide, I think. 16, what do you think of GTA 5 turning 10 years old? Holy freaking crap. When I found out that yesterday, at least as of the recording of this video, was GTA 5's 10th anniversary, it turned a whole decade old, my jaw just dropped. I remember the very first time I played that when I got it for Christmas in 2013. Realizing that this game that I got that Christmas was almost 10 years ago is freaking insane. The other part of me is like a lot of people. Okay, that's cool. Where's GTA 6? It's been 10 years at this point since GTA 5. I think it is finally time we at least get some form of news for GTA 6. Like, it's officially happening. That's as far as we know. Like, I wish we would at least get a teaser trailer. I hope we do by the end of the year. I personally am very 50-50 on if we're going to get a trailer by the end of the year. I don't know. But I think we could. And it's just unbelievable that these characters I've fallen in love with, their game is turning 10 years old. It's really freaking hard to believe that that happened so long ago. Alright, here is the biggest, most controversial question on the entire list. More than the am I political person and the writer's strike thing. It's number 17. What do you think of the hate the USA gets from other countries? I think some of it is extremely stupid, and I think some of it is justified. Listen, the United States of America is not a perfect country. As somebody who lives in it, I don't think it's a perfect country. I think we have a lot of flaws. We have a pretty bad situation with violent crime. Not nearly as much as some countries, but for first world countries, we have a pretty bad violent crime problem. We have a homeless problem. We have some problems with corruption. We have We have some big rivalries and stuff like that. We often get involved in conflict that I don't think we need to get involved with. But some Europeans and Canadians and people from like Australia and New Zealand and stuff like that, I think sometimes they like to act like, oh, their country is perfect and stuff like that. At least we're not America and stuff like that. It's okay for you to point out flaws, but when you act like a selfish prick to just say that, oh, your country is better than America, is it really though? Okay. Maybe it is. I'm not gonna kid. But my main point about this is, why are you making fun of a country if they have a lot of problems? Why aren't you saying ways to try to fix it? Oh, because the government won't listen. Yeah, maybe they won't, but my opinion is, I'll give you a perfect example. One time I was going through Reddit and I saw, or no, it was a YouTube video. It was this comment on a video of From Here to There, their Australian states ranking, I think it was. And this one guy goes on there, he's from Australia, and he said, you know what? At least Australia doesn't have school shootings every day, with a laughing emoji. What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously. Joking about something like that, I understand if you're in... It was the laughing emoji that pissed me off. It wasn't the fact that you mentioned it, because we do have a problem with that in our country. What the problem is, you put a laughing emoji, like you're... That proves that you're not a very good person. That proves that you have no sympathy for anybody. That proves that you're just a selfish prick who lives in his own world thinking that, oh, this never happens in Australia. It doesn't happen nearly as much in Australia as it does the United States, but it does happen. Not every day, but it does happen. Violence happens in Australia, not, like I said, not nearly as much as the United States. I can handle people criticizing our country. What I get pissed off about, though, is with comments like, oh, at least we don't have school shootings every day and stuff like that, laughing emoji. That pisses me off. People making fun of our country in that sort of way. People making fun of our obesity and our extremism and stuff like that and accents. I find that funny. But the thing that pisses me off is when people make fun of, like, murder and stuff like that, and it pisses me off, especially when people make fun of... I don't even really want to talk about it. It gets me pissed off. Our country is not perfect, but you know what? Making fun of our country is just not the way to go. And that goes for Americans making fun of other countries. Don't do that, you know what? It just makes you a prick. Don't make fun of other people's cultures and countries. It's just stupid. It's horrible. It makes you a self-centered prick. I'm sorry I got so serious during this topic, but it's just how I feel. A light jab or something like that, like something light, is fine. Like, mentioning that Germans drink a lot of beer is more okay than mentioning that they were the whole cause of World War II and the Holocaust and Adolf Hitler and stuff like that. That's offensive. Mentioning stuff like beer and pretzels and stuff like that, not so much. It's a bit of a... What am I trying to say? It's a bit of a stereotype, but it's not... I don't know. I don't want to go on about this for too long. I knew this was going to be very controversial, but I don't think any country should be making fun of any country in any sort of a serious way like that. Like, Australia and America are relatively close to each other. Why do you say such hateful comments like, well, at least we don't have so many school shootings, laughing emoji? Yes, maybe that's a little bit sensitive on my part, but I mean, that's a very serious topic that should never be made fun of. So, take a look at yourself, is all I gotta say. So, my opinion is yes, some of the comments from other countries is justified. When you make fun of our major issues, though, it makes you look like a prick. So, I don't think the United States should do it either, because we're guilty of that. But what I'm saying is other countries are guilty, and other countries have major problems too. The states have more problems than others, but I just wish that we could all get along and be happy, no matter where we're from. It shouldn't matter where you're from. As long as you're a good person, we should all be able to get along. That's all I'm saying. I wish we could all just get along and stop making fun of each other's countries. And just get along. That's all I'm saying. 18. What's the best Metallica album? Ride the Frickin' Lightning. By God, this is an... Every song on that album is an absolute frickin' banger. Especially For Whom the Bell Tolls, but... oh my God, I love Master of Puppets too, and the Black Album, so it's just... Ride the Lightning is my overall favorite, but pretty much every other album is pretty much tied for a close second. But with Ride the Lightning having Ride the Lightning, and especially For Whom the Bell Tolls, you can't even compare it in my opinion. That's... My favorite music album of all time is Ride the Lightning, my Metallica. Number 19, Buffalo or barbecue wings? Over the past week, I thought it was pretty much tied, but as I've come to discover, I prefer barbecue chicken wings over buffalo wings. I'm not a fan of hot foods. I'm really not. It just doesn't appeal to me. It burns my mouth. It makes me feel uncomfortable, so... I'm not a big fan of hot wings. Barbecue wings, on the other hand, I could eat them every day, especially the ones from this place called Cluck You Chicken. They're especially prevalent at pizza restaurants. They are really freaking good. Oh my God, you dip them in ranch dressing. They're the friggin' best. I love barbecue wings. I really do. And... I prefer them far over buffalo wings, actually. Number 20, this is the last question for this video. When will 20 questions end? I don't know. I'm almost positive, in fact, I'm 100% positive we are going to be going beyond 25, but when I decide it's finally time to end 20 questions, I will come out and say it. But for now, we are continuing with 20 questions as long as we can. And that's that. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys liked it. I'm sorry if we got into a few serious topics and stuff like that. It's just something I really wanted to get out there and stuff like that, especially with question 17 about how a lot of places put hate on the U.S. when... Some of it is deserved, but a lot of it is not. I just wanted to get my opinion out there that we just shouldn't hate each other because of where we're from and stuff like that. That's just my opinion. So I hope we can all like each other and just get along and not let where we're from get in the way of being friends and stuff like that. I think that's just stupid. I think we should be friends no matter where we're from. And... that's about it. Stay tuned for part 26, probably coming out in 2 or 3 months. Gaming Do here. See you later. Bye.